Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you have never seen any of our videos before, let us introduce ourselves. My name's Katie.
I'm Hayley.
And we are the Disney Twins UK. We make all sorts of videos, so we do information videos helping you guys plan your trips, and also we make vlogs as well for when we go to Disneyland Paris or to Walt Disney World. So yeah, just our channel is pretty much everything Disney.
Yeah.
So we really do hope you stick around and you watch some of our previous videos if you haven't already seen them, and definitely click on that subscribe button and check out our upcoming videos as well. Today's video is really just information. It's stuff that we wish we'd known before we went to Disney World for the first time.
Yeah.
So it might be that you've never been to Disney World and you just started looking into it and you're not really sure where to start, because there's a lot that goes into planning your Disney World holiday, and we didn't know any of it when we went for the first time. So hopefully this video is going to be useful, and we're going to include as much as we can for all the things that you need to know as a first timer going to Walt Disney World. Now, there's so much to think about when you're planning your first Walt Disney World trip, so we'll try and keep it kind of to the main bullet points. We probably won't be able to include everything in detail, but we have got a planning and fast pass video already, so we'll try and link that below, and that'll have a little bit more information. We might cover a little bit of the same ground, but our first tip would be to plan.
Yeah.
Sign up for My Disney Experience, which is a free online account, and they also have an app as well, and you can keep all your plans together there. You can make fast passes and dining reservations. There are maps on there are wait times, opening times, so it really is the main hub for all of the information for Walt Disney World. So I would suggest that's the first thing you do before anything else, and because that is going to be your main source of information. The thing that I would suggest is when you're planning your itinerary for your trip is to check the opening times on My Disney Experience, so you know what times each park's going to open, because they will vary from one park to the next. So some will open earlier because some have what's called extra magic hours, where if you're staying in a Disney World hotel, you get to go in a little bit before it actually opens. So that might be as early as 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So you do need to check. Also in the evening as well, some parks close sooner than others. So it is worth bearing in mind like the opening hours for each park, and I think that will help you decide where you go to on which day.
Yeah, and speaking of extra magic hours as well, if you want to use the extra magic hours, so you're going to be there the minute it opens, make the use out of that quiet time before all of the crowds, then definitely do that if you can. If you're an early riser, all the better. If you are not staying on site and you're not taking advantage of those extra magic hours, try and avoid the park that has them on for that day, just because it attracts a lot more people. So sort of like the general rule is, if that park has extra magic hours and you're not going to be there during those magic hours, try and go to a different park to avoid those higher overall crowd levels, really.
Yeah. I think that one thing that we've definitely learned is to kind of take it easy.
Yeah.
And you're not going to want to take it easy. You're going to want to be at the park all day and night and not have any relaxation time. But here is another really useful tip, and something that we really would recommend, is to do split days. So maybe hit those parks with the early morning extra magic hours, and then kind of come away in the afternoon when it gets really busy, and then either go back for the evening or choose a different park to go to if you have got a hopper ticket. That's how we make the most out of our time, even though we're going away for a few hours, and we might spend it by the pool, or kind of take a nap, or just go and shower and freshen up. You might think that that's missing some part time, but after you've been there a few days and you get exhausted from being at the park,
you get Disney tired.
Yeah,
so super tired, and yeah, it's how to make the most out of it and not just spend the entire evening feeling really tired. Just go away, freshen up, and then come back.
Yeah, that is easier if you're staying at a Walt Disney World Resort hotel. I know that it is a bit more difficult if you are staying off-site, but still have a think about how you could get those little moments of chill time in your park day, because, you know, your body and your mind will thank you after a couple of days for sure.
Yeah. Another question that often gets asked is, how long do I need to spend in each park? Some people are worried like they're going to do a 2-week holiday and they're going to do Disney and you know, they're going to have loads of holiday left. We have been going for several years, and we usually go for 2 weeks at a time, and we still haven't done everything that Disney offers. So I would definitely say you can fill a 2-week holiday with just Disney if you want to. That is, you know, you definitely can. We would say at minimum to sort of hit the highlights of every park, 2 days and 2 nights at each park. If you can do longer, do longer. You might find that, you know, if a particular park isn't really your thing, you could probably spend less time. But yeah, we can't spend less time than that, can we? Our last trip was quite a short trip, and we still tried to cram as much in as we can. Yeah, and still had the split sort of days as well. So so yeah, if you can do 2 days, 2 nights at least, then you'll definitely be making the most out of it.
Yeah. One thing that I think that we definitely learned from our very first trip when we went there is that the Disney theme parks are very different to theme parks in the UK. So if you're a UK traveller and you're heading over to Disney World for the first time, it's not like our theme parks. Yeah. Our theme parks are very much rides, you know, maybe a show here and there. But the theme parks at Disney World are kind of an overall experience. So it's not just the rides. I remember thinking, get on this ride, get on this ride, get on this ride when we first went, but actually if you're just kind of prioritising the ride, you are missing out a lot of what Disney have to offer. Yeah. The shows are amazing, you have the parades, each park has got kind of at least one evening spectacular, maybe with fireworks or something else going on. So there is so much to do, and it isn't just rides, and you know, I think that's worth bearing in mind if you're going for the first time.
Yeah, definitely take in that overall experience and don't just hit the rides. Yeah. Although, speaking of rides, you'll probably know that there are going to be queues. There are going to be lines for all of these rides. And if you're going to go at busy times, there are going to be quite long lines for some of these rides. So the way we avoid that is to make the most out of the Disney Fast Passes. Now, you don't have to pay for Disney Fast Passes at Disney World. So that's the first thing. I think people worry about, like, well, how much is it going to cost me to get Fast Passes, and it's probably just better to stand in line. You're going to stand in line for plenty of rides, but basically Disney offer you 3 Fast Passes a day. If you use up all those 3, there might be more after that. But basically you can book these 3 Fast Passes per day, and yeah, just take advantage of shorter lines. So it's a different queue that you would get in. You just you can book these using the My Disney Experience, and it's 60 days before you go if you are staying in a Disney hotel. If you're staying off-site, it's 30 days. Check out our Fast Pass video for all the detailed information about Fast Passes, but make the most out of those Fast Passes. We find that even if it's a really busy day and the crowds are crazy, you've still got those 3 rides where you know that you're going to get on without a long line. So definitely get on and book them as soon as you can, really, to get the best options and the best times and the best rides for those.
You do have to choose your 3 at the same park. So once you've kind of figured out what park you want to do for each day, that's when you can kind of be having a look to see which 3 Fast Passes you're going to choose for that park. Like Katie said, there is more information on our Fast Pass and planning video, which we will link below, because it's got a lot more detail about how you book those Fast Passes and how you go about sorting all that out.
And the best Fast Passes to get.
Yeah.
So yeah, check that video out, definitely.
Yeah. Now, speaking of making bookings for things, it is worth talking about another thing that you can book in advance, which is your dining reservations. Now, you don't have to book for quick service. So the quick service is where you kind of go up to a counter, get your food, and then find somewhere to sit. But for table service, where it's kind of like you'll
it's like a sit down meal.
Yeah. And you will need to book those, and they do book up really early. You can book 180 days in advance, so quite a long time. But it is worth mentioning that you just need a credit card to hold that reservation. You don't actually have had to book your park tickets yet or anything like that, because it's held with kind of like that credit card, so you can book way in advance even if you've not even got your tickets yet. And there are some restaurants that are really hard to get into, like Be Our Guest at Magic Kingdom. That's really hard. So, you know, it seems like a long time from your trip to be booking restaurants.
It's definitely worth it though.
Yeah, definitely worth it. There are some sit down restaurants that you can walk up and get a table, but Disney World, it does seem to be getting more and more busy, so I don't know how long that's going to last for. But if you know, I would definitely suggest booking if you know where you want to eat, and if you have got a dining plan where you get table service, and it includes the Disney dining plan includes quite a lot of table service meals, so you're gonna want to figure out where you want to have those meals so you can make the most out of your dining plan. But yeah, definitely book. That's my advice.
And speaking of the dining plan as well, like people ask us, you know, do you get the dining plan? Is it worth it? And we've never had the dining plan. So we've literally never had the dining plan. This next trip is going to be the first time we've ever had a dining plan, and it was only because it was included in our holiday. It was a free dining offer. So before now we've just paid out of pocket. It kind of depends on your family. It depends how much you like to eat. It depends on a lot of different factors that are quite personal to each family. So we couldn't just say no, like it's not worth it, or yes, definitely get it. I think it really depends. You really have to do your numbers, figure out the cost of things. Yeah. If you're wondering how much meals are in Disney World, you can just look on the My Disney Experience, because all of the menus and the prices are all on there ready for you. So you can kind of roughly work out how much you would be paying out of pocket versus how much a dining plan would cost you, really. One of the things we like to do with food at Disney is we like to share meals. Yeah. Because we don't have massive big appetites, and also the portion sizes are huge in most cases, aren't they? So you can go to a quick service, you order one meal and split it between the two of you. That's totally fine. You can also order a child's meal if you're an adult as well. We've done that before at Stuli Canteen, and it's just exactly the same. We ordered the same that we would from the adults menu, and it was just slightly cheaper and a slightly smaller portion, wasn't it? So definitely something to bear in mind if you're not a big eater. And yeah, just generally, sort of the mobile ordering is a pretty cool thing. They didn't actually have the mobile ordering when we went for the first time, but it's definitely something you can do. You can basically pre-order those counter service, those quick service meals on the app. So yeah, check that out if you think that's going to be useful. It might save you joining some very long queues. And yeah, just I think people worry about food quite a lot, like where they're going to eat. Is it going to all be burgers and chips? Spoiler alert, it's not. It's not. There is such a massive variety. It's not all junk food. The food actually, from our experience, has been really good quality, and we have pretty much done entire 2-week holidays where we've only eaten on Disney. So like, don't be too concerned about that. One thing I would say is about sort of how expensive the food is. I think it's, as you would expect, it's going to be expensive. And I think the earlier you accept that, the better, in a way. Definitely. If you're going to be worried about, you know, spending the whole, and we haven't all got endless budgets on, you know, we're not all throwing money away, and it is already an expensive holiday. If you worry about the cost of every meal and every drink that you buy, you're gonna ruin the experience for yourself in a way. I think if you're gonna do that, you might be better on the dining plan, because you know it's kind of budgeted and it's all paid for before you go, and then it's just credits then that you will use up. So if you're thinking, oh gosh, you're gonna, you know, think about how much things are costing every time you go up and order some food, the dining plan might be worth looking into. It does help you budget, and yeah, if you can get it paid before you go, then it's one less thing to worry about. So we wanted to give you guys a little bit of an idea of what it's like to be getting around Disney property. Basically, it's really easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're staying in a Disney hotel or if you're staying off-site, you can use the resort buses to get around. These are free buses. They generally come around about 15 to 20 minutes, and they will go between the resorts and the parks. And in a lot of situations now, which didn't used to happen, they will go park to park as well.
Yeah.
So keep your eye out for where that happens, because that's a really good way of getting around.
Yeah.
It's not just buses as well. There's boats,
Yeah.
and monorails, and basically what we would say is just check out the best option for getting where you want to go, really.
Yeah.
But definitely the free buses are really quick and easy in most situations. Obviously a lot of people use them, so in busy times you are going to be queuing for a while, and they're not always going to come when they say they're going to come. Like now, as opposed to when we first went, they will actually have boards, and it will come up on your My Disney experience what time those buses are arriving for pickup, which never used to happen. You used to just have to guess by the size of the queue, really. But bear in mind that just because it says it's coming at 9:30, it might not come at 9:30.
Yeah.
So don't rely on the times, I would say.
If you have got to be somewhere for a certain time, we really would recommend choosing a different way of getting there. You know, you can use Uber over in America, or there's something called Lyft as well, and yeah, it works the same way as Uber, so you can just kind of like order other transport. There are taxis as well at the parks, and also minivans, which are basically cars that are kind of
like Minnie
Mouse. And it's operated on the Lyft app.
Yeah.
So you can find out exactly how much that's going to cost you for the route that you want to take on that particular day.
Before you book it.
Yeah.
So you know how much it's going to cost.
Now the minivans are more expensive than getting an ordinary lift, but they can drop you off closer than an ordinary lift, so that is worth bearing in mind. Is it worth the extra money? And even just to kind of ride around in a Minnie Mouse car, it might be worth it just for that. But yeah, if you have got to be somewhere for a certain time, it might be worth looking at those other options as well.
Yeah, or just leave loads of time to get there. Yeah. One mistake that we 100% made on our first trip is we missed maybe 5 buses because, you know, we didn't realise sort of like that we needed to be there at a specific time. We spent too long in the park, and then we didn't leave enough time to get back. We kind of cut things fine a lot, because we didn't realise how long it was going to take. So just bear in mind that if you need to be somewhere at a specific time, definitely like allocate a lot. I think they roughly say an hour and an hour and a half, 2 hours even. So yeah, it is a free transport service. So yeah, they come when they come. Try not to be too sort of upset about it. I know we've had past experiences where sort of we've been let down a little bit by the buses, and it does make you feel a bit rubbish, but try not to let it sort of affect you, and just make the most out of them, because really they, you know, it's a free service that you're getting to use.
One other thing that we need to talk about when it comes to transport: if you are staying on site at a Disney resort hotel, you can get a free transfer from MCO, which is the main Orlando airport. There is another airport called Sanford. We usually fly into MCO, and we can get on that free transfer. It's called Magical Express, or when you're leaving, we're like, you know, a lot of Disney fans call it the Tragical Express. But yeah, it's absolutely free. So even if you're booking a package holiday through one of the big companies, bear that in mind. You don't have to pay for an external transfer to get to your resort hotel, and it's really fun. It starts your holiday off in such a Disney mood already. As soon as you're at the airport, they have TV screens that will give you more information about the parks, and little Disney cartoons and quizzes, and you know, and it's free. And it's really easy to book. There's just an online form that you just fill in with your flight information, and then you just get confirmation that you're booked on, and you just head there as soon as you get off the plane, and it's really easy. So don't let those travel companies sell you their transfers if you are staying in a Disney hotel. Make the most of the Magical Express. Now the shopping in the Disney parks is amazing. They have such a big range, there's so many different shops, and yeah, it's definitely one of our favourite things to do when we're at Disney. Some things are kind of more on the expensive side. Lots of merchandise is what you would kind of expect. It really depends on what you like to buy, I suppose. But the one thing I would definitely say about if you see something you really like, buy it when you see it, because you might never see it again, even in the same shop. Yeah, we've had it before where we've kind of like had our eye on something and gone back to the exact same place and it wasn't there anymore, it was sold out. So if you really like something, definitely kind of buy it when you see it.
Yeah, and don't think you've got to carry around with it with you all day. You don't have to carry around the shopping bags unless you want to.
Yeah.
Because Disney have a service for guests staying in a Disney resort where they will deliver your packages and any merchandise that you've bought back to your resort for you to pick up when you get back. If you're not staying on site, they can also have it left for you at the main entrance to come and pick up on your exit as well. So if you see something and you think, oh, I don't want to get it yet because I don't want to carry it around, you don't even have to carry it around. Just money in general, I think is a question that comes up quite a lot. Like, do people take loads of cash? Do they use credit cards? We personally use a prepaid currency card, and we find that really easy. We just load the money onto there and then we use it just like a debit card. You can also, if you're staying on site, connect those up to your Magic Band and have you can charge back to your room using your Magic Band. So yeah, we don't feel the need to just carry around lots of cash. We just take a little bit for sort of tips, emergencies, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We did kind of want to buy something from one of the carts that were just out and about on Main Street while we were waiting for the parade one time, and they didn't accept cards. So it is worth carrying a little bit of cash just in case you kind of want something from like maybe a little cart or somewhere where it doesn't take a card. So one thing that we definitely should mention, because we have already talked about the Disney parks, but we haven't yet mentioned the water parks. So there are 2 water parks on Disney property, Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon. We tend to go at least once during our trips to the water parks.
Yes.
And there are definitely things that we wish we knew before we went there. So we were just going to give you guys a little heads up. The first thing we would say is go early.
Yeah.
Like we kind of like arrived late after it had opened, and we really struggled to get the sunbeds all together and things like that. So the earlier the better, we find, with the water parks. And then you're kind of avoiding that really hot sun in the afternoon as well, if you sort of go early and then just stay as long as you want to and then you can leave. Definitely take money for renting lockers, eating. There are some really nice restaurants and the food is actually really great. I know some people would think, oh, you know, what's the food like at the water parks? Is it just sort of junk? It's not. It's really, really nice food. So we would definitely say sort of make sure you take money for those lockers, take money to get food. You can rent towels, but we would say like they're teeny tiny.
Yeah.
So if you can, take like a nice big beach towel. That's what we usually do, isn't it? Now our final tip for first timers is to let you know about extra ticketed events at Disney World. They're getting more and more popular now. It used to be that they'd have kind of Halloween parties and Christmas parties, but now they're doing even more events, and they're events that you basically will pay extra for to attend. Sometimes they do, there's an early morning magic ticket which will give you longer in some of the parks, kind of like in the morning before anyone gets there, where you can ride different rides and get food and things like that, which we have done for Toy Story Land. So if you haven't seen it yet, check out our early morning magic from Toy Story Land video. And also they do it an after hours event as well, which is a ticketed event, kind of a similar situation than the early morning magic. You're getting to ride rides with less crowds, but yeah, you do have to pay for those different events. There's also an event at one of the water parks as well, at Typhoon Lagoon, happenings over the summer months, and so there are all these different ticketed events popping up which will actually kind of close those parks for kind of regular
visitors. You can only get in at those times if you've paid for one of these extra tickets. So it's worth mentioning because you might want to do one of these events and might not know about it. They are really, really fun. We've done the Christmas party. Again, we'll try and link that below. Early Morning Magic at Toy Story Land was really fun. So yeah, there might be events that you might want to attend that's going on while you're there. But if you don't want to attend any of those events, it is worth mentioning, and so that you know about it, because when you have a look on the like operating hours for each park, it will say kind of special ticketed event or something like that, and it'll give those times, those extra times. So that's what that means basically. Now if you are going, especially when there are Halloween parties going on and Christmas parties.
Halloween, by the way, starts in August. So.
Yeah. So those events on at Magic Kingdom, and the park, that means that it can close the park to regular visitors from 6 o'clock. So it is worth mentioning that it kind of can shorten the day. So if you're not going to attend those events and you want to make the most out of your days, kind of it's worth knowing you might want to go to a different park. So yeah, when you have a look on the opening hours, that's what those times mean basically.
Yeah, but we definitely recommend the Christmas party and Early Morning Magic at Toy Story Land. Both were amazing experiences that we found they were worth the money. So yeah, just do your research, see if there's something you'd be interested in, work out the costings and everything. But yeah, it just adds a little bit more magic to your holiday. So hopefully those tips are going to come in useful if it's your first time to Disney World. Obviously we can't go into great detail with every single aspect of Disney World. There would just be too much to talk about. But we've hopefully given you some food for thought, and hopefully you'll find sort of things now that you can sort of focus your research on a little bit more. Please do check out those other videos that we mentioned, and make sure you're subscribed to our channel so that you'll see all of future videos. And we really enjoyed vlogging last time we were in Disney World, so please do check out those videos of our experience while we're there, and just generally check out some other vlogs. There are so many Disney vloggers out there making amazing videos, and it really just gives you a clue about what it's going to be like when you get there, and we found that really, really useful, didn't we? So check out as many vlogs as you can, do your research, and have an amazing time. Thanks for watching. Have a magical day.